And over time, you become mentally soft, emotionally fragile. You lose your edge. But the opposite is also true. Every time you do the hard thing, even when it's small, you send a powerful message to yourself: I can handle this. You build evidence. You build muscle. And the more reps you get, the more confident you become. Not because you were born brave, but because you've trained yourself to be. Confidence is not a trait. It's a skill. And the fastest way to build it is through earned experience, one hard thing at a time. Let's look at the science. Studies on resilience and post-traumatic growth show that people who voluntarily expose themselves to challenges develop greater emotional intelligence, better stress management, and stronger mental focus. Why? Because hard things demand presence. You can't zone out when you're pushing your limits. You have to show up fully, and that presence sharpens you. It forces your mind and body into alignment. It clears the noise. And in that clarity, you find yourself. Now let's talk about the compound effect. One hard thing a day might seem small, but over time, those choices compound. Think of it like weightlifting. One workout won't change your body, but 100 workouts, 365 workouts, that changes your shape, your strength, your stamina. Same with hard choices. One difficult conversation won't revolutionize your life, but a year of speaking your truth, a year of setting boundaries, a year of showing up when it's easier to quit, that changes who you are. Here's an example. There's a guy who hated cold showers, couldn't stand them, but every morning he forced himself to take one. Why? Not because of the health benefits, though those are real. He did it because it was the first hard thing of the day. It was uncomfortable, but he did it anyway, and that choice created momentum. By 7 a.m., he had already proven to himself that he could do something tough. That momentum spilled into every other area of his day: his business, his relationships, his workouts, his mindset. One small, hard, big ripple. Or think about athletes. Kobe Bryant used to wake up at 4 a.m. to train, not because he loved the grind, but because he understood the edge that discomfort creates. He once said, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." That mindset, doing the hard thing even when it's not convenient, is what separated him from everyone else. And that's the secret. Success isn't about talent. It's about tolerance. Tolerance for effort. Tolerance for setbacks. Tolerance for pain. You don't rise by avoiding the hard. You rise by embracing it. So how do you actually build this habit? Start small. Pick one thing each day that stretches you. It doesn't have to be massive. It just has to matter. Maybe it's waking up early. Maybe it's finishing that assignment you've been procrastinating on. Maybe it's going to the gym, saying no to junk food, asking for help, saying something honest, launching your website, making that phone call. Pick your hard, and then do it. No negotiation. The power isn't in how long it takes. It's in the fact that you did it at all. Here's a trick. Write it down. At the end of each day, keep a hard thing log. Write down what you did, how it felt, and what it taught you. That log becomes your proof. On the days you feel weak, you can look back and remember just how strong you really are. You start to realize, wow, I don't need easy. I just need possible. And I've done possible before. Now let's bust a myth. People often think doing the hard thing will make life more stressful. But the truth is, avoidance creates way more stress than action. Think about it. How much mental energy do you waste avoiding something? How much tension do you carry just thinking about what you should be doing? The guilt, the anxiety, the pressure, that's a high price to pay for avoidance. But when you face the thing, even if it's tough, that stress dissolves. Action is clarity. Action is freedom. And here's another secret. Doing hard things makes life more meaningful because challenge creates depth. It's in the struggle that you discover your character. It's in the effort that you uncover your values. It's in the pain that you find purpose. Look at any powerful story, a hero's journey, a redemption arc, a comeback. They all share one thing. Someone faced something hard and they chose to keep going. That's what makes a story inspiring. And that's what makes your story worth telling. So what's stopping you? Fear, doubt, fatigue? You think you're not ready? Newsflash, nobody ever feels ready. Readiness is a myth. You don't need confidence to do the hard thing. You need courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action despite it. It's standing up when your legs shake. It's speaking when your voice trembles. It's showing up when quitting feels easier. That's real strength. That's what builds legends. And look, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying it's worth it because you don't grow in the comfort zone. You grow in the stretch. And every time you stretch, every time you do the thing you don't want to do, you become someone new, someone better, someone stronger. And eventually, those hard things, they don't feel so hard anymore because your baseline has risen. Your standard has changed. What used to break you now builds you. What used to scare you now fuels you. So do one hard thing every single day, not for the world, not for the applause, not even for the outcome. Do it for the person you become in the process. Do it because you said you would. Do it because you're not here to live a small life. You're here to lead, to grow, to rise. Because when you build the habit of facing challenge, you become unstoppable. Life still throws punches, sure, but you've trained for them. You've built the mental calluses. You've felt the fear and still moved forward. That's power. That's ownership. That's freedom. And remember, you don't have to conquer the mountain today. Just take the step. Just do the hard thing in front of you. That's how you win. Not all at once, but one brave decision at a time. Feed your mind like you feed your body. Every single day, you make choices about what goes into your body. You eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe snacks in between. You're aware, at least on some level, that the food you consume fuels your energy, affects your health, and even impacts how you feel. But what about your mind? What are you feeding it? Because your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are shaped by the content you consume just as much as your energy is shaped by the food you eat. If you want to live a better life, you've got to be as intentional with what enters your mind as you are with what enters your stomach. Let's start with this fact. Your mind is not a garbage can. It's not meant to hold endless fear, gossip, drama, distraction, or self-doubt. And yet, if you're not careful, that's exactly what piles up. Think about it. If someone poured toxic waste on your dinner plate, you wouldn't eat it. So why are you okay binging content that poisons your perspective? Why are you okay scrolling through negativity, fear-mongering, comparison, and shallow entertainment for hours every day, and then wondering why you feel anxious, drained, or hopeless? This isn't about being perfect. This is about being aware. The average person consumes between 6 to 11 hours of media per day, from social media, podcasts, YouTube, streaming, news, and notifications. That's more than a full workday of mental calories being shoved into your brain. And if you're not intentional, you'll fill your head with whatever is trending, loud, or addictive, instead of what's empowering, purposeful, and aligned with who you want to become. Imagine this. You wake up, and instead of checking your phone, you read 10 pages from a powerful book. Instead of watching the latest scandal online, you listen to a podcast that inspires you. Instead of comparing your life to someone else's filtered highlight reel, you reflect on your goals, write in a journal, or listen to music that fires you up. Those small shifts, they compound over days, weeks, months. They rewire your mind. They reprogram your beliefs. They reframe your reality. Let's look at the science. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. This means it changes based on how it's used. Every time you consume a piece of information, whether it's uplifting or toxic, you're creating or reinforcing neural pathways. So if you constantly watch negative news, you wire your brain to scan for danger. If you constantly scroll through people who seem more successful, you wire your brain for comparison and inadequacy. But if you consume motivational content, growth-oriented ideas, wisdom, philosophy, practical advice, you train your brain to look for solutions, possibilities, and opportunities. It's the same principle as a physical diet. Eat clean food, and you feel clean energy. Eat junk, and you feel sluggish, bloated, and foggy. Your mental diet works the same way. If you're not feeding your mind well, don't expect it to perform at its best. Clarity, focus, emotional strength, those don't come from wishing. They come from fueling your mind with the right inputs. Think about high performers in any field: entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, thinkers. One thing they have in common: they protect their mind like it's sacred. They don't let just anything enter. They curate what they listen to, what they read, who they talk to, what they watch. It's not because they're trying to be perfect. It's because they understand that greatness begins with input. If you want to produce high-quality thoughts, actions, and results, you need high-quality mental fuel. Take someone like Oprah Winfrey. She's known for saying, "Surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher." That same principle applies to what you consume. If the voices in your earbuds are always doubting, complaining, gossiping, or fear-spreading, how can you expect to feel powerful and clear? But if you fill your mind with mentors, leaders, philosophers, and motivational voices, even virtually, it changes your vibration. It shifts how you think, speak, and act. So what does a powerful mental diet look like? Start with morning nutrition, not just for your body, but for your brain. What's the first thing you see or hear when you wake up? Is it stress, notifications, news headlines, or is it something that grounds you? Maybe a quote on your wall, a short meditation, a journal prompt, a short video that reminds you who you are. That first hour sets the tone for your entire day. Don't feed your mind junk in the morning and expect it to run like a machine all day. Next, think about your daily content intake. What are you watching? Who are you listening to? What kind of social media are you consuming? You don't have to cut out entertainment completely, but you do need to balance it with enrichment. If you're watching 3 hours of TikToks, but you can't remember the last time you read something that stretched your thinking, there's an imbalance. Reframe content as a choice, not a default. Choose content that builds you. And don't forget about people. The conversations you have are mental food, too. Are you talking with people who complain, gossip, and play small? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and help you grow? Sometimes the best thing you can do for your mind is change your circle. Or at the very least, expand it. Podcasts, books, interviews, those are forms of proximity, too. If you don't have mentors in your real life, get them in your earbuds. And here's something powerful. Your self-talk is part of your mental diet. The way you speak to yourself, the stories you repeat, those are inputs too. Are you feeding yourself criticism, doubt, blame? Or are you giving yourself encouragement, clarity, compassion? Don't just monitor what comes from outside. Pay attention to what's coming from inside too. Now let's talk about the results. When you start feeding your mind like you feed your body, everything changes. You get more focused, more creative, more confident. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding intentionally. Your emotional baseline rises. You handle stress better. You make better decisions. Why? Because you've built a stronger, more resilient mind. one that's fueled by wisdom, clarity, and strength instead of chaos and confusion. Let me be real with you. The world is loud. You are being bombarded with noise from every direction. Algorithms are designed to keep you hooked, not empowered. If you're not careful, your mind becomes a battlefield, not of your choosing, but you can take control. You can reclaim your attention. You can curate your inputs. You can become the gatekeeper of your own consciousness. And when you do, you take back your power. This isn't about perfection. You'll still scroll. You'll still binge something once in a while. That's okay. But the dominant inputs, the things you consume most consistently, those must be aligned with who you want to become. Because your future is shaped by your focus, and your focus is shaped by what you feed your mind. Start small. Replace one negative input a day with something positive. One toxic scroll session with a chapter from a great book. 1 hour of gossip with an hour of journaling or reflection. One news binge with a walk while listening to a podcast that inspires you. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing something consistently. That's where transformation begins. Because here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need better inputs. You don't need more time. You need better focus. You don't need a new personality. You need new programming. And programming comes from what you consume. Daily, hourly, minute by minute. So feed your mind like you feed your body. Nourish it. Strengthen it. Stretch it. Protect it. Because your mind is the control center of your life. And the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your outcomes. You want a better life? It starts with what you let in. End your day with power, not chaos. The way you end your day determines how you live your life. Most people think the morning is where change begins. And yes, mornings matter. But the secret weapon of high achievers, balanced minds, and peaceful souls isn't just how they start the day. It's how they close it. Because if your nights are chaotic, your mornings will be foggy. And if your nights are full of guilt, distraction, overstimulation, or regret, no morning routine will save you. Ending your day with power is about creating closure, control, and clarity, so you can rise stronger, sharper, and more aligned tomorrow. Let's talk reality first. What do most people do before bed? They crash. They scroll endlessly. They binge shows they don't even care about. They eat snacks they didn't need. They drown in regrets from the day or anxiety about tomorrow. It's not rest. It's avoidance. It's not winding down. It's numbing out. And that behavior compounds. Over weeks and months, it becomes a pattern that kills productivity, steals energy, and leads to unfulfilled lives. Now, contrast that with someone who ends their day on purpose. They don't collapse into bed. They close the day like a chapter. They review it. They learn from it. They give their mind and body permission to relax without guilt. They put their phone down. They dim the lights. They slow the rhythm of their evening. They choose peace, not by accident, but by design. Why does this matter so much? Because your brain isn't a machine that you just turn off. It needs transitions. It needs signals that the day is complete. When you carry the stress of the day, unresolved conversations, unfinished tasks, unprocessed thoughts, straight into your bed, your brain stays on high alert. That's why you lie there overthinking. That's why your sleep is shallow. That's why you wake up tired, even after 8 hours. You didn't rest. You just shut down. Let's talk science. When you expose your brain to artificial blue light at night, from phones, laptops, TVs, you suppress melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. Even 30 minutes of scrolling before bed can delay your natural circadian rhythm by hours. Add in dopamine spikes from social media, stress from unfinished to-do lists, and a flood of anxious thoughts, and you've just created a perfect storm for burnout. Now imagine a different ending to your day, one where you disconnect to reconnect. You light a candle. You play soft music. You journal your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. You forgive yourself for what didn't go perfectly today. You write down 3 wins, no matter how small. You prepare your clothes for tomorrow. You visualize how you want to feel when you wake up. You don't need 2 hours to do this. Just 15 minutes of mindful closure can change your sleep, your energy, your mental clarity, your life. Let's look at some real-world examples. The Navy SEALs have a phrase, "Slow is smooth and smooth is fast." That applies to evenings, too. High performers know that rushing into bed is like slamming the brakes at full speed. You need a runway. Many CEOs, athletes, and creatives have wind-down rituals. Ariana Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, famously changed her life by protecting her sleep and nighttime routine. She physically removes all electronics from the bedroom. She takes a hot bath. She writes in a gratitude journal. Why? Because ending the day with intention creates a foundation